What we got?
Trevor, just what's your reaction to the reports of the move at left tackle and just Walker Little kind of settling into the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say first of all, I mean, I'm not supposed to like talk about any of this stuff where we're at now, but just Cam, like I'm very appreciative of him, what he's done for me. Obviously, I got a soft spot for those guys up front, and they got a hard job and very selfless, and he's been here a long time, so I'm grateful for him. Always going to wish him the best. He's a guy that I've loved playing with over the past few years, and so that's part of this business, right? The situations that change and losing teammates and friends and stuff in different areas like that can be tough. But on the flip side, I will say Walker's done a great job. I'm excited for this opportunity for him. He's played great when he's had the opportunities the last few years. He's been put in some tough spots. He's had to play a lot of different positions. He's had to come in 22 when Cam got hurt. He had to come in and finish the season when we were on that run, and we didn't skip a beat because he was prepared, and he prepared every day like a starter. And so he's been ready for his opportunities, and that's not easy to do when you're not the full-time guy. And now that he's getting that opportunity, I'm excited for him. So I think it's like there's always two sides to it, and it's tough. And but obviously, like Walker, like I said, he's more than ready, and he's done a great job, and I'm excited for him. I got all the faith in the world, and he's played great so far.
How much change have you seen from Parker Washington from last season to now?
He's been great. I think, just the improvements he's made on whether it's just knowing the system, the ins and outs. Like, last year when he played a lot, he knew the system, but I think understanding why you do things a certain way, running routes a certain way versus different coverages or zones or sitting in certain spots. I think just all of that he's developed a lot more over the past year. And, because he had a full offseason. He had all this time in the offseason to train, and he looks great. He's explosive. You see him when he came in on Sunday, playing on the outside, playing on the inside. He can move around and just do a lot of things that help us. So in a time like this, when, as the season goes on and you might have guys banged up and, aren't always 100% sure on what Sunday's going to look like because you're just trying to get there and see who's healthy. So that's helpful when you have a guy that can do as many things as he can, and it's been good for us.
With all the questions at receiver because of the injuries, do you have to spend extra time throwing to some of the other guys maybe you haven't thrown a bunch with this season?
Definitely. Me and Parker have worked a lot, obviously, because, the year he had last year in the offseason and all that stuff, there was the plan, obviously, to get him involved and to have things for him, and we've been working him in even before the injuries. But so I feel like that chemistry is there, definitely with the other guys, though, that could possibly be up on Sunday, just making sure that we're all good on, basic stuff, timing. And obviously I throw a little bit to him as the season goes on, but it's not as much as the main guys, just naturally. You only have so much time. So just kind of making up for some of those reps now this week and getting, the plan in and running all these different routes with the guys just to make sure whatever happens, whoever's out there, we're ready and we've gotten the reps.
How's Christian's spirit?
He's good. Yeah, I saw him yesterday, and he's doing good. Obviously, I hate that for him. Just one great player and huge impact for our offense and our team, but also just not someone that works harder. And sucks to see him the last 2 years have to have a season-ending deal. Just sucks. You see how hard he works, and obviously I know him really well and know how much he puts into it and how much it means to him. So, that's definitely disappointing whenever that happens to guys in your team. And so just praying for him, speedy recovery, and I know he's going to be back better than he was before, and it's just the beginning for him. So I know he's in good spirits, but obviously frustrated. I mean, how could you not be? It's hard when it gets taken from you like that and you're out for the year.
It's hard to replace his on-field production, but how hard is it to replace him in the locker room as well and the leadership that he has there?
Yeah, just he's just such a steady voice out there. He's really smart. There's times where when things get crazy or you're moving fast, like he directs a lot of the traffic outside. So guys got to step up. Whoever's in that role on certain plays has to step up, and everyone just has to be themselves. You don't have to try to be Christian. You don't have to try to be anything other than yourself, but you got to really master your role, your position, the plan, and you got to know what to do. And I got a lot of faith in those guys and Chad to get them ready, and no questions in my mind. But yeah, it's definitely a void to fill as far as, like you said, the production and the locker room presence. He's a great leader. He's a good voice in that room. Very steady, same guy every day, and so guys will just have to step up.
What's the challenge this week just going up against the Eagles defense? Vic Fangio, I'm not sure if you've ever played against his style of defense before, but if you have, just what's the challenge there?
Yeah, played against this. I mean, he's got a lot of – he's been on a few different teams, obviously, as of recent, and then his coaching tree is pretty big too. So I mean, you look at Chargers are that similar when Staley was there. That defense was similar system. And Denver played against them like a similar scheme, and then my rookie year played against them in Denver too. So yeah, I mean he's just he well coached defense. They know what to do. Everything looks the same. Really good disguises. It all comes out of this shell. Then at the snap, it changes, and they do a good job of disguising some pressures. They mix the fronts up. It's not a group that pressures a ton necessarily. They just seems like they do it at the right time. They're on the same page. They really stress your protections when they do. They like to get one-on-ones up front. This D-line is a really good group, so they play to their strengths. And then the guys in the back end, they fly around. These backers are really physical, very physical. And then the back end is smart, and they got good ball skills, and they're all playing together. So I think you see their defense every week. You watch the season; they've gotten better and better every week.
Trevor, what's it feel like this season compared to maybe? I don't think you've ever been this 2-6, guys getting traded. Questions about the head coach with expectations up here. Like, does it feel surreal or weird or?
I mean, nothing surprises me anymore with this league and different things you hear or people say. And just try to block all of it out, because a lot of it is, if something happens, it's how you respond to it, and then you move forward. But there's no point in speculating on stuff like that. I mean, people just say crazy stuff, honestly. And part of y'all's job is not to say crazy stuff, but to report rumors or whatever. And a lot of this stuff, in my opinion, has no weight. And it's like I know we're 2-6 and we're struggling and not making any excuses for it, but it's like every week you lose, the sky's falling on Monday. And it's like you have to remind yourself just to take a deep breath, relax, and how do we put together a plan to go win this week? Like, I feel like you can't put yourself in panic mode of freaking out, of trying to get this thing back on track. Like, you just gotta put together another good week and go to work. There's really no other answer. There's not if there was one answer that I could give you, we would have already done it. So we just got to go have a great week of prep and go play well and execute on Sunday and make a couple more plays than the Eagles and find a way to win the game.
Do you feel like there's extra pressure on you on Sunday? The offensive line a little banged up, receivers, question marks about who will be available. Does that put extra pressure on you to execute?
No, I need to play well. It's the same thing every week, though. I'm not putting any more pressure on myself. I got to play well. I got to play well every week to give us a chance to win. That's just playing quarterback in this league. It's not unique to our team or this situation. It's just how it is. So, I'm just going to, like I said, have a great week of prep, make sure I'm ready to go on Sunday and work through all those things like we talked about, like whether all the guys are – obviously Christian's not going to be out there, but all the other guys that are, a little banged up, if they're good to go, great. We're prepared for that. That's not much change. But if that's not the case, how do we work out all the other stuff and making sure that I talk through with all those guys that could possibly play and make sure that we're all dialed in and ready to go. And that's my responsibility and the coach's responsibility, and we'll make sure that we're ready and then just go play. Trust those guys to go win. We got good players. Obviously, when you're missing guys, it sucks and you want your guys out there, but we got players that are ready that are more than capable of doing their job.
I remember about that first trip to Philly. That was pretty bad conditions, right?
It's rough. Rough day for us in Philly. Just the weather was bad. I didn't play well. Had plenty of opportunities to win the game. We had a big lead early and let them back in the game. So I remember that one and don't want to feel like that leaving Philly this time.
How much have you grown since that, like just looking at it was 2 years ago?
Yeah, grown a lot. Played a lot of football since then, been in a lot of different situations. I've grown a lot as a player. It's situations obviously change every year and the teams are different, but it would be cool to go back there. And obviously it's a hostile environment, but it's a fun place to play. That's one of the cool stadiums and environments to play in, just because it is. You're ready for a crazy group, and it's going to be loud, and it's exciting, so it'll be fun.
Is there any added emphasis this week? There was a lot of pre-snap penalties on offense last week, trying to make sure that you can avoid those?
Definitely. That's something we always talk about, is penalties and stuff you can control. I think those are the things that you harp on the most, just because they're controllables. There's times where, I don't ever focus too much on making the play or doing certain things, because it's football and that's going to happen. You might miss a few plays and you're going to make a lot more than you miss, but the stuff you can control, the penalties, that stuff we got to clean up. So, I think there was a couple misunderstandings out there on some of them that were interesting, but I think besides that, there are some things that we need to clean up and do better. But I think there was one motion where it wasn't really like Gabe, the false start. I think that's something that I don't know that necessarily was a false start. Just something that we coach and we got to maybe let them know beforehand, because it does time up with our cadence really well. And so that's one where I don't see like that one was on Gabe necessarily. We just have to prepare for that and let them know that that's something that we're going to do.
Thanks, Trevor.
All right, thank you all.
Thanks, Trevor.
Appreciate it.